Hey yo, what's up guys? I'm back with another one. Consistency is key, and I'm here consistently. Today, I'm talking about a team that I should know relatively well, Calgary Flames, because I love the Oilers, and the Oilers' rivals are Calgary. And also, I've seen a lot of them this season, so this should be one of those previews where I actually sound knowledge a little bit, at least not like an idiot. So let's get straight into it. So 2018-19, gonna go through their last 3 seasons. In 2018-19, obviously they had that really great season, best year that they've had in a while. 50, 25, and 7, finished first in the Pacific. They ended up getting eliminated in the first round. The next season after that, 2019-20. They dropped off a little bit, 36, 27, and 7. They went to the playoffs. They won in the qualifying round, and then they got eliminated in the first round. They finished third in the Pacific that season. God, what's going on that season? And they slowly declined, but they were still playing good enough. They made the playoffs even without the qualifying. They were still in a playoff position. And then this past season, they went 26, 27, and 3, finished 5th out of 7th in the North Division, failing to make the playoffs. And a lot of Calgary's players, which I'll get into later, had career years in 18-19 that they just haven't been able to recreate since that year. And hopefully, for Calgary fans, we'll be hoping that some of those players do, such as Sean Monahan, can recreate seasons that they once had. So last season, what went wrong? Well, let's look at their analytics. In goals for, 2.77 a game, which is 19th in the league. So they were mediocre in scoring goals. Goals against, 2.86. 16th. Well, they were mediocre. Power play, 18.3%, which is 21st in the league. Mediocre. Penalty kill, 80.2%, which is 15th in the league. Mediocre. So they weren't necessarily bad in one of the categories. They were just mediocre. They were in the middle of the league in goals, everything. They're just middle of the pack. And they were around. That's really why they didn't make it. They were just mediocre. So what went projected lines? Let's see what they got headed in. Did the changes they make help them, hurt? So on that first line, on cap friendly, because that's what I use to get these, you have Johnny Gaudreau, Lindholm, and Matthew Tkachuk. I think this is a good first line. Obviously, Gaudreau is still a good player. He just hasn't been able to get that. Like, he was on 100 point. I'm pretty sure he very nearly hit 100 points in 18-19, and he just hasn't been able to get that back. But still a point per game the last couple seasons, and I think that contract, I'm pretty sure, I think it's like 6.8, and that's still worth what he does. Lindholm, great player, good first-line center, sure. And Matthew Tkachuk. And people forget, he's only 23, so he could still get better than what he's doing right now. And at one season, he had a really good season, and lately he slowly declined, but still very good. Could see him bouncing back next season. And it's not even bouncing back that much, just a little bit. On the second line, you got Blake Coleman, their new addition, who I think they overpaid for. Sean Monahan, who they're hoping for a bounce back from. And Dylan Dubé, a young right winger. All right, so Coleman, overpaid. Definitely. If Coleman, and on cap friendly, they have him second line. Tell me, Calgary fans, do you think Coleman will be on the second line left winger? Or do you think Mangiapane will be on the second line left wing? And I'm just curious. I want to know from you guys. Because if Coleman's on the second line, that $4.9 million might not look bad for the first few years, especially if he's playing with Monahan and Dubé. But on the third line, that contract's probably not looking good. I'm assuming they signed him to that, anticipating he was going to be on the second line. Dubé, good young forward, could get better. Yeah, we'll see. Third line, like I said, Mangiapane, Backlund, Pitlick. Mangiapane, once again, like I said, good player. Played on the second line last year, I think. Will he be on the second line this year again? Calgary fans, let me know. Backlund, Yeah, good third line center. Better than a third. If his stats last season look good, to what I'm looking at. Then Tyler Pitlick. You got Tyler Pitlick, who I remember him on the Oilers, and I always liked him. Apparently he's on Calgary now. Did not know that. I don't know if he actually re-signed this year or not, but didn't know that. And Pitlick, I always liked him. Haven't watched him in a while, though. Fourth line, you got Cheech Frost, and Richie. So Cheech, I don't know, I think it's Cheech. That's what I always say. He actually had a good year compared to his other years prior to this. Still not worth that $6 million or whatever that he signed to. Frost, don't know much about him, I'm not going to lie. And then Richie, fourth line, sure. So I think this is not a bad fourth line. I mean, it's your fourth line, right? It looks like they got three. Their first line's good, second line maybe okay, and third line. Like, they could have three solid lines here. Moving on to the defensive side. So on defense, their first pairing on Cat Friendly. Noah Hanifin and Tanev. So Hanifin, don't know much about him. His points look fine. His defensive numbers looked okay. So I'm not going to say much about him. Tanev, Calgary Flames fans love Tanev. And is he overpaid? I don't know. If you ask a Calgary fan, most of them will tell you that they like him and he's amazing defensively. And the thing I notice, I hate plus minus. I hate it. But when I'm looking at the plus minus on defense and everybody's running around -1-0-ish on Calgary, and Tanev had like a plus, was it plus? It was either plus 12 or plus 20, but it was it was higher than most. That tells me that he must be better defensively than the other guys. So, fair enough. Second pairing, you got Valimaki and Anderson. Valimaki, 22, young defenseman. And then you got Anderson, a solid second pairing defenseman. This could be fine. Third pairing, McKee, and Zadorov, who they acquired. Did they trade for him? Did they sign him? I think they lost. No, they signed him, right? Because they lost. No, they traded for him. They lost Giordano, and that's gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt them, Giordano. And they signed Zadorov, and Zadorov's definitely no Giordano, but he should be a good third pairing defenseman for them. So this defense, it's okay. I really think that Calgary underperformed last year due to what they should do. I think this coming year they'll bounce back a little bit. I feel like they could definitely be a playoff team. Goaltending. So Markstrom, in 43 games last year, put up a .904 save percentage. I see him bouncing back a little bit than what he did this season in Calgary. He's better than that, and Vancouver fans would tell you that, and I just think he'll bounce back. Then you got Vladar. I really like this move for Calgary, acquiring Vladar. He's still young. He's only 23, and he has 2 years on a cheap deal, an RFA. He'll be a good backup for them, I feel. But if Markstrom gets hurt, what are you going to have, like Vladar? And I don't even know who their third goalie is, but I just feel it. So hopefully Markstrom doesn't get hurt. On their scratches list, I don't really talk much about the scratches. I basically just list them. Lewis, what's that second name there? Say, I write these all down on paper. I do all of this on paper. Bring it down, read off of what I've analyzed. Bodden and Killington. So Oliver Killington, I'm aware of him. He's a young-ish defenseman. I think they protected him in the Seattle expansion draft. Did they? I think they did. And anyway, they didn't take him, so he will probably get one more chance at the NHL. Maybe we'll see how he does this season. And yeah, there's my preview for the Calgary Flames. If I had to predict, where will the Calgary Flames end up this year in the division? I still have to take a look at a lot of teams. So Vegas and Edmonton, I think those are your top two, guaranteed, probably. And then I could see Calgary or Vancouver up next. Honestly, I'm gonna say Calgary ends up fourth in the Pacific. I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna say fourth in the Pacific, and they missed the playoffs barely. That's what I'm gonna go with for now. They missed the playoffs barely, end up fourth in the Pacific. They could definitely be a team that surprises me though, as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I am about to film my Carolina preview now, which will actually debut tomorrow. But you'll see this one later tonight, or whenever you're seeing it. I guess you're seeing it right now. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.